everyone, sorry about the light in my light and in my glasses. I actually have a ring light on today because it is dark and gloomy out there, so I'm trying to work with the lighting, but we all know how that works when you're a glasses wearer like myself. But today's video is my trying to conceive journey, my how long it took me to get pregnant, my what we did. I'm just going to put a big disclaimer here and say this is just a general video of what me and my partner did in order to get prepared in having a second baby, how we conceived without stating the obvious. This isn't a this is what you should do to get pregnant video. This is just what me and my partner did, and how long it took us. I'm not going to say that it all worked or what we did is what everyone should do, because everybody is completely different, and I want you all to know that what may work for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. And also I just want to state that I don't have any fertility issues, I don't have endometriosis, I don't have PCOS, I don't have anything like that. So I don't want people who may suffer with some fertility issues to think that I'm being really insensitive. I've just been requested to do this video quite a lot, as during the try to conceive time in my life of conceiving this baby number 2, I was quite open and honest about it, because let's be honest, nobody really talks about when they're trying for a baby. We all talk about it when we've become pregnant, or if we've suffered a loss, and things like that, which is really upsetting. But no one actually talks about the process while you're in the process. So over on my Instagram, if you guys want to go and see, I will leave it linked below. I talked a lot about my trying to conceive journey, and I was very honest about when we were trying to conceive, and just to make sure people didn't feel alone, because it is a really, really lonely time of your life when you're not talking about it. And second time round, I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser, and I just feel like actually there shouldn't be such a taboo around talking about the process of conceiving and becoming pregnant, because it's really not as simple as you think. We get taught in school to always wear a condom, be careful having sex, like have safe sex, you will get pregnant, and for some people that does happen, but it's in the minority. There's only a small period of time during a woman's cycle where she can actually fall pregnant. So without further ado, if you guys are interested in seeing this video and how long it took for me to fall pregnant and the sort of things I did that might have helped me along my way, then just carry on watching. So overall, Dan and I fell pregnant in our 6th month of trying. We started, we started trying in the December, and we fell pregnant in the May, and we found out in the June of 2021. I've had a few questions actually about like how I knew when the right time was to have baby number 2. And all I'm going to say is, if this is to do with baby number 2s, how you felt having baby number 1, if it was a meant to have pregnancy, that's how you then feel about baby number 2. It just became something that is all we talked about, is all we thought about, so we knew the timing was right. If this is your first time, if it's all you can think about and you feel really happy in your life that this is the next stage and you're content, go for it. Just go for it. There's never a right time or wrong time to have a baby. What's meant to be will be, and just go for it. Have faith in yourself that it's the right time, trust yourself, and just enjoy it. And if it's happened by accident, this is the way your life was meant to be, it's your path, and that is that. Yeah, so basically, starting off, we started trying for baby number 2 in the December, when my toddler was a year and 10 months old. We thought we'd have a last Christmas, just the 3 of us, little did I know. And then we will start trying. Since having my first baby, I haven't been on any contraception since being pregnant, blah, blah, blah. So it's been like 3 years, a bit longer than that. Then I breastfed my first baby, so until he was 20 months old. So I stopped breastfeeding him in the October of 2020. But my periods came back around the summer of that year, but they were all over the place. So for the next sort of like 4 or 5 months, up until December, when we decided to start trying again, I was just letting my body do what it needed to do, let my hormones settle, and let my periods do what they needed to do. I wanted to see how regular they were. I wanted my body just to do whatever it had to do to get back into the sync of the way it works without the hormones, the breastfeeding, the pregnancy, etc. So when we got to December, and we decided we started to start trying for another baby, I sort of roughly knew how long my cycles were. I am a woman whose cycles are normally around between 30 and 32 days. Some people have 28-day long cycles. Some women have a lot longer than that. And like I said, this was an estimate. Like some days it could be like 28, some days it could be like 33, but roughly, normally it was around 30 to 32 days. So in December, we didn't do any like ovulation sticks or anything. We just kind of we were just very natural with it. If it was meant to be, it was going to happen. We weren't tracking anything. We were just being really casual. The one thing I did do in December, I downloaded 2 apps on my phone. I downloaded, well, actually saying that, when I started tracking my periods again properly, when my periods came back, I had downloaded the Flow period tracker app, and that would roughly tell you when you were like fertile and things like that, but it's all a massive estimate. And then when we started trying in the December, I also downloaded the Ovia fertility app. So every day you could do a login, and then when you're actually on your period, you log that, and then it can do an estimated time of when you're fertile and when your ovulation day is. Do a score here. So as you can see, this is number 1, and I'm on like cycle day 93 or whatever. But that will change to, sorry, this baby is kicking me. That score will change regarding on where you are in your cycle. So for the average person who has a cycle of 28 days, they would normally ovulate on around day 14 or 15. It sort of is 2 weeks after their period, like from the first day of your period. So a week after you finished, or like 2 weeks from the first day. But that isn't for everybody. Some people ovulate really early. Some people can ovulate like just after their period. Some people can ovulate just before they come onto their period. Like, it's all about just getting to know your body and getting to know your cycle. And as women, we don't really, I think for a long time, until you start really trying for a baby, or you decide to come off of all contraception and you just want to do a really natural way of keeping yourself from getting pregnant, we're not very in tune with our bodies. We don't really, we have our periods, we have our days where we don't, we have our hormones, we have our binge eating days, we have our emotional days, whatever you want to call it, we have our PMS days, and that's all we sort of know. We don't really know any rhyme or reason. But obviously the main thing is that it's building up to release your egg and to maybe fall pregnant. Just to say, I'm not a professional, this is just my own research and experience. So come the end of December, I found out I wasn't pregnant. That was that. So come January, I wanted to start taking things a little bit more seriously. So I started to track my body temperature every single day. I have a little thermometer that I just track. Do I have it? But I basically have a thermometer that I would track my body temperature every day, because what people don't realise is that your body temperature tells you a massive part about where you are in your cycle. So you have your steady body temperature each day, which I took mine first thing on the morning before I even moved out of bed. I literally would pull it over. Hold on. So I would take my thermometer, because your thermometer tells you whereabouts you are in your cycle. So you will have a steady temperature of most days in your cycle, your regular body temperature, which you should take first thing in the morning before you move, before anything makes your temperature rise in any way. And then during your fertile window, you will then start to see a rise in your body temperature, and then you will hit a peak body temperature. And this peak body temperature is your day of ovulation. And when you have ovulated, I think, please quote me if I'm wrong, you have like 12 hours or 24 hours to make the sperm meet the egg. But your body temperature will spike. That's how people back in the day would know when to fall pregnant or when they were fertile, because they would check their body temperature. So it's a really, really natural way. So I started doing that to start with, and I would note it down in there. And then obviously, again, I'm still getting to know my cycles and getting to know when I was fertile, when I wasn't, because these apps are all estimates. So the more information you put into these apps and things, the more like precise they're going to be. But I mainly think just getting to know your body as best as you can is the best you can do. So again, we didn't fall pregnant in January, so February came around and I thought I'd step it up again, and I started to take some ovulation sticks. These, first of all, I went for the clear blue ovulation sticks. I just got these on Amazon. So you get this here, and then you get given, these are the pregnancy tests, but you get given these which contain the strip. You wee on them like a pregnancy test, you pop them in, and then on the screen here, you would get either a smiley face, which would mean you're like it would flash, and then it would be a plain circle if you're not fertile. You would get a flashing smiley face if you're fertile, and then you get a still smiley face if you were like on your peak. And then I would take the sticks out and look at the lines on the sticks as well. So I did that for a couple of months. To be honest, like there's one there, like a little purple one. I'll open it and show you actually, because I mean I don't need it. That's the stick that you insert through this bit. You will wee on that end there, and then your two lines will pop up on this bit here. So yeah, so I used that for a month, and to be honest, it's quite a lot of money. Like you spend 20 quid or so on the stick, and then you have to buy the tests every time, so it ends up like racking up in price a little bit. And it was really good. Again, it was just a way to let me know my cycle. I basically was taking one every day from the last day of my period. So like the start of your cycle is the first day of your period. That is day one. So have your period, and then I would start taking my ovulation strips from there. And then I would wait until I got my smiley faces and do what you need to do. And then you have the 2-week wait. So after the day you've ovulated, or you feel like you might have ovulated, or you have ovulated, you have a period called the 2-week wait, which is basically roughly 2 weeks before your period, or near enough. So it's where you could have fallen pregnant, but you have to wait 2 weeks because it's too early to detect a pregnancy during that time. And that time is hell, absolute hell. It's the longest 2 weeks ever trying to wait. But then obviously either your period comes along, or you can start testing, and you will then soon know your answer. So again, we had no pregnancy within February, so we move on to March. Now in March, I thought I would ramp it up again, because I was starting to get a little bit like frustrated. It'd been like 3 months now. I fell pregnant with Jasper very, very quickly. And I sort of was watching a lot of trying to conceive videos and seeing tips and tricks of what people were doing. So that is when I invested in the clear blue monitor like this. It has a screen on, and it's basically the same as the clear blue sticks, but this costs you about £100. And again, you have to spend money on the actual correct ovulation sticks to put in here, and it just does the same thing. You can link your body temperature to this, it tracks your periods, and it tells you when you're ovulating, and it comes up and it will say like whether it's a high day or a low day. So on your high days are like your fertile days, and then your low days are like not. Waste of time, waste of money. Personally for me, I think I used it once and then was like, I'm not investing any more money into buying ovulation sticks for it, because it was so expensive and I couldn't really get my head around the technology of it. I know some people swear by this, but I honestly think like all ovulation sticks basically work the same way. So if you can do the cheaper alternative, then just do that. You're just looking at the lines anyway. Obviously this is like a digital way of saying to you like you are ovulating, just like the other clear blue one. But to spend £100 on this, when that one costs you say 20, I would go for the £20 version. So obviously that didn't work, and I just want to put in here, during this time of trying to conceive as well, I was taking prenatal vitamins, just to like get my vitamins up, and I was taking folic acid and vitamin D, I think, as well, just to make sure my body was having everything it had. I was trying to eat quite well after Christmas, and I was drinking a lot of water, and just generally trying to look after myself to make sure my body was in a good starting position to conceive and have a baby. So yeah, so March came along, that didn't happen. Moving on to April, I'm very aware of my cycle by this point. I know I've been checking my body temperature, I'm doing ovulation strips, and I'm aware that like when I roughly come on. April was a month I ended up having a really long cycle. So I think my body was just not playing ball, and I ended up having a cycle of like nearly 40 something days long. So I was adamant I was pregnant because I was like 2 weeks late for my period, but my period never came, and obviously I then found out I wasn't pregnant. But during the month of April, I ramped it up again and started using pre-seed lube. So pre-seed lube comes with little tubes like this that you pop the lube into, and you pop it inside yourself, and it's basically meant to help encourage the sperm to go where it should go, and make things more comfortable while having sex, especially because, let's be honest, scheduled sex is not romantic, and sometimes you need a little bit of help along the way. So I started using that. On top of that, I was still taking my vitamins and I was still doing my ovulation strips. But what I had done from this point, I'd actually just moved on to using a big old bag of these ovulation strips. Now these are the ones that I recommend because they're just the one-step ovulation strips from Amazon. They have the instructions on the back here of how to check the test, and they literally look like this. So that's where your result will come. Now, I recommend these because these are the ones that I fell pregnant with Jasper on. And once you've done multiple ovulation sticks, you know what you're looking for. Now, with ovulation sticks that don't have any flashing signs and things like that, and they are legit just a stick, you get 2 lines like you would on a pregnancy test. Now, you will always get 2 lines or like a barely there line when you're not fertile. But the key thing to look out for on your fertile days is the test line to be darker than the, wait, let me get that right. So you want the test line to be darker than the control line. So the control line is the line that's already there. Then the test line is the line that appears after you've peed on it or you've dipped it in. So I would always pee in a cup and dip it in so I wasn't like splashing it everywhere. TMI. So yeah, you will start to notice that line going darker, and as that starts getting darker, you will be like in your fertile window. Then on the day or the 2 days, some people get 2, some get 1, that it is the darker than the control line. Go, go, go. That is your time to get it going. Like that is when you've peaked, that is your ovulation, and then you have like I said, a 12 to 24 hour window around that day of your egg being released and to get pregnant. Now you have a fertile window because sperm can live in your system for up to 5 days. So that's where you have a fertile window of when you could, so if you roughly ovulate on the 14th of the month, you could have a few days before that where you could have sex and that sperm could still be within you and it could reach the egg. But your best days are those, that when that line is the control, when that test line is darker than the control line. Now they cost about a £5, if not less, off Amazon, and they are the ones I swear by. You don't need to spend a lot of money. I've learned a lot now as the months went on. Like I said, in April I still didn't fall pregnant after doing the pre-seed lube, and then when it came to May, I did 2 things differently. I used the cheaper ovulation sticks, and like I said, I knew my cycle at this point. I was like into my 6th month of trying, and I knew my cycle. I knew what was like happening more with my body, and I also had a recommendation from a friend who had recently fallen pregnant about, rather than taking folic acid, to take folate acid, whereas like folic acid is apparently like the slightly cheaper version of like folate. So I just got them on Amazon. Let me show you. So basically just took like these like folate acid tablets, just folate tablets basically, which do the same thing as like folic acid. And then I was taking my pre-vitamins like normal with that and just using those sticks. And obviously I was tracking my ovulation. Now I just want to be completely honest with you here. During the month of May, with some personal things going on in our lives, so there wasn't really time for sex, I'm not gonna lie. So I was just looking on my Ovia app, I was doing my ovulation sticks and taking my tablets, and when my Ovia app told me I was at the 10 score of my fertile window, which is when I was going to be ovulating, and I had my positive ovulation stick, we literally did the deed I think twice that month. just on those days, and that was it. There was no other sex involved in that month, so I really didn't think it was going to happen. Previously, in the other months that I've already said to you about with the other ovulation sticks and pre-seed and everything else, we'd gone through months of doing it every other day. We've gone through months of doing every day, months of just doing it during the fertile window, going every 2 days, every 3 days. Like we tried it all. And the month that I fell pregnant was the month that we literally did it twice. And I think sometimes it's the pressure as well, like you're taking that pressure off. So yeah, so we did it in May, that was that. And then at the early stages of June, I started spotting. Now for me, spotting during a period is not unusual. I always used to spot for about 2 or 3 days before my period would start, and then I would spot for a couple of days after. So I started to experience some spotting at the beginning of June. And actually we had a really, really sad time, and I lost my granddad around this time that I started spotting. So I just thought, it's okay, it's another period. Although it was pretty odd to me because it was only about 3 weeks after my previous period, and normally the month before that I'd had the 44-day long cycle. So I thought maybe my body was just catching up from that, or I didn't know what was going on. But it felt early for me to be, it was only on like day like 20 or something of my cycle that I started spotting. But I put it to the back of my mind, and I was dealing with some really upsetting family matters. And then 3 or 4 days later, 3 days later, I was still spotting, and we were due to be going away on a staycation the following week. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just gonna take a pregnancy test just to see if I need to pack my swimming stuff. Like, I'm spotting, I'm sure I'm gonna come on any day now. And then I took the pregnancy test and they were positive. And I couldn't believe it. It was 3 days after I lost my granddad. So my emotions were all over the place. And I just couldn't believe that the month that we literally hardly even touched each other, I went back to the basics of just taking some proper vitamins, trying to look after myself as much as I could during a really sad time, and taking the cheap ovulation sticks. Didn't use any pre-seed, nothing like that. I was still doing my body temperature. And that was the month that it happened. So I just want to say here, before I finish this video, I don't want to get all like spiritual on people, but I really think everyone needs to trust the timing of their life. And I look back now and realise that I was given the pregnancy when I needed it most. Like, at the saddest time of my life was when I got given my second biggest blessing of becoming a parent to my baby number 2. And I think if it had happened any time before that, obviously I still would have been over the moon, but I understand why I found out I was pregnant when I did. I also want to state that obviously I was breastfeeding and getting to know my cycle, so I don't know if that had any effects on it. But I think my biggest advice to all of you out there is strip it back, keep it normal, keep it casual. Don't schedule it in too much, but get to know your body as a female. Spend some time getting to know your body as a female, getting to know your cycle. Take your vitamins, look after yourself, keep moving, drink lots of water. Don't spend too much money. Check those fertile days though. I do recommend doing ovulation sticks because of course you don't know when your fertile window really is. Trying the folate acid if you want to speak to your doctor about it first. And just believing in the timing of your life. Yeah, so that was our 6th month try to conceive journey. Anyway, I hope this was interesting for some of you. I hope it gave you some knowledge of my background story for some of you. If, like I said, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I don't know all the ins and outs, I don't know all the science behind it, but if anyone would like to have a little chat with me about things or any more advice, please don't hesitate to drop me a DM on my Instagram. I'm always here to have a chat with everyone about anything related to subjects that you might not feel comfortable talking about with other people. But I thought it was about time I got this video up, considering I am 28 weeks pregnant tomorrow and I need to also film my second trimester video. But yeah, like I said, I was imminent on about this, but I thought, no, I will get it up because if it can help one person or make someone else feel like they're not alone, then that is what I'm here to do. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, hit me up with any messages, questions, or anything that you have, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Also, stay tuned for baby content because I'll be filming a lot of baby content.